Hi, my name is Campos and I've been posting videos on this channel pretty regularly, and the main motivation has been to help people deal with their public speaking engagements, their anxiety, building the storylines, but also how to build impactful presentations. And it all starts with your presence on stage. The first videos were mainly about how to deal with stage fright in all three dimensions. My last video was about the power of silence, how it can be mainly a powerful tool, but also something that you need to revert to your advantage. And today I would like to start facing the fears. One of the things I would like to start to address is precisely the use of chemicals and anxiety management drugs. Stick with me until the end and I'll take you through how you can deal with your anxiety on stage without using drugs, but also without cheap tricks. Things that take time but will stay with you forever. There's a reason why drugs are banned in sports, and because they are enhancing your performance, and they're mostly seen as cheating. So why would you use drugs when you want to go on stage and you want to be able to face the crowd, face your own fears, and most importantly, why would you use drugs to create a persona on stage that will not last? Well, drugs are seen most of the times as an escape from reality, and what you're about to face on a stage is reality itself. So to a certain degree, I understand that the quick fix of a anxiety management drug would bring to someone that has to do a presentation, goes on stage, cannot handle their nerves, and they are feeling extremely anxious and sad and self-loathe, feelings of self-loathing. So I can understand all that. What I'm trying to convey here is that there's a different way, a slower way, which you can take to create a stage persona and to be comfortable with you even making mistakes on stage without punishing yourself, without feelings of self-loathing, and even without the necessity to please everyone. So the first fear that I think needs to be faced head on is the fear of being looked at. One of the ways I would recommend everyone to tackle the fear of being looked at a deeper level is by practicing being alone within a crowd. One of the many ways I used to do on purpose is to put myself in situations where I would potentially be looked at, but no one knows me, between strangers, but in places where strangers are communicating with each other, typically restaurants or bars or places where I would go alone and would have to deal with a sort of an invisible stage because people are there. Some of them might look at me, but this is for people who have stage fright and be afraid to look at and be evaluated. This is a great way to practice. This will not be an overnight cure for you, because this is something that you need to practice, to be alone, be uncomfortable, and be okay by being uncomfortable and being alone to a certain degree where you will start putting yourself in ever more awkward positions. Now, you're still not calling the attention to yourself. You're still not doing something that will put you in the spotlight, but you're feeling comfortable or more comfortable by being surrounded by strangers who can potentially look at you and evaluate you and think whatever the hell they'd like to think about you, but you are doing it. Practice doing presentations for other people was one of the one of the sequences that I've recommended, but this goes a step beyond. This goes a step further. Is you're gonna put yourself as the odd man out in situations where people are supposed to be with people. So restaurants, bars, places where people are socializing. Of course, that there will always be people alone on those places, minding their own business or waiting for someone else. I'm not telling you to look at other people and evaluate them, but try to create that invisible stage. I've done that many times across my business trips, mainly because I hate to be stuck in a hotel room, so I'll just go out. And by making this an habit, I would see myself and sometimes put myself in situations more uncomfortable than I would want it. But then the result, looking in hindsight, was that I got to deal much better with that invisible stage. The other way to face the fears, and this is not a hack, this is again a progression, is by going again alone, because you need to practice the art of being alone in places and doing things alone, is to go to places where there's a social acceptable etiquette, like museums. You would see even people that are alone at museums, they put on this museum persona, like I'm supposed to be out here and supposed to behave like a museum visitor. What if you think that that museum is your own house? It's your own backyard. It's your own experimentation stage. And you don't behave like you're supposed to behave. Now, I'm not telling you to go out and, behave unsocially acceptable, but to reframe the museum as a place where you are having a mental trip of some sorts, where you would imagine that that place is something else other than a museum. Could be with other stuff. So breaking that etiquette will bring you some sense of ownership of the space. And that's exactly what you need to practice when you're on stage. You need to understand that you own the stage. And once you do these two clicks in your brain, the invisible stage and clicking that you need to reframe the space where you're moving and not be doing the etiquette of what other people supposedly in your brain are expecting from you, owning that, you would create space for that stage persona. And that stage persona is something I can discuss in future videos. By doing these two things regularly and then practice yourself in front of a camera, or practice doing more presentations even in smaller crowds, you will definitely see a difference. You will see this stage persona come alive and having its own life. It's not like it's someone else, but it's not you entirely, right? So you are communicating ideas, so you need to have a clear mind, a space ownership, and a being comfortable with being scrutinized and being looked at, and all these things take time. The third thing I've been doing, apart from the other two that I've described, was to keep pushing myself outside the normal boundaries of what is expected from me doing. And this channel is definitely one of those experiences, stepping out of training people in an enclosed environment in the business arena to doing videos for YouTube. Breaking the etiquette was what allowed me to be comfortable doing these videos. Those would put me not in an uncomfortable position, but I would have to break the etiquette of what was expected from me. I was owning the space around me. So that's my first advice for the video today. Don't use drugs. I'm serious about that because I've been reading a lot of details from people thinking that anxiety management drugs are the best thing since sliced bread. I don't agree. It's just because depending on your situation, you might be pushed to a presentation and you're not ready, you don't feel ready. But start doing this. I'm not saying quit drugs completely if you're already using them and they're helping you in your daily life, but not specifically to go on stage. Work on your lonely persona, work on your stage persona, own the stage, own the space around you. I hope it helps.